for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. In Season 2 of Hacks and Hobbies, we're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life. We want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. Last week was my birthday week. Feels good to be alive, and I'm grateful to all the lovely folk that sent me birthday wishes via social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Oh yeah, I also got text messages. Last week you also got to listen to some fantastic interviews from Ian Tolson, Judi Fox, Adam French, and Kerry Heaps. They had some amazing stories to tell and a lot of lessons to learn from them. So really happy that you got to listen and hopefully took a point or two from these interviews. So this week I have some fantastic guests. Starting with Julian Smit on Tuesday. He started his career as a multifaceted marketer with a degree in psychology. So thanks to his degree in psychology, he's able to sympathize and empathize with his clients and companies in a way that most marketers don't think about. We get to hear his incredible journey and how he came about founding multiple companies to forward the marketing cause. Then on Wednesday, we get to hear David Burkus talk about how to build communities, get good at communicating your purpose at networking events, and being a podcaster himself. I get to learn about his journey and his approach towards podcasting and how it helped him to become a better speaker and an author for several books over the years. One of the books that he recently launched is called Friend of a Friend. And this book is mind-blowingly amazing. There's a lot of good stuff in it, so make sure to check out this episode. A little story behind David Burkus. I learned about him through my good friend Grayson Scott. And turns out he was one of the inspirations that got me, kickstarted and jump-starting into podcasting as well. Because Grayson told me, David Burkus, he's my brother-in-law and he's been doing podcasting for quite some time. And I was like, whoa, really? So I looked into it. I started stalking him on LinkedIn and sent him a request and talked to him back and forth and learned about his, what he's working on these days. So don't forget to check out David Burkus' episode on Wednesday. On Thursday, we get to listen to the journey of an award-winning author to the book Awakening Out of Darkness by Alan Wade. I met him through the fantastic Magnetic Entrepreneur book series and group, and he's had the opportunity to tell us his story in the book and share it with the world as he overcame darkness and trauma as a young child. So Alan Wade reached out to me as well as he was recommended by Robert J. Moore. And when I asked Robert, who would be a good candidate for being a guest on the podcast, and he said, you got to talk to Alan Wade. He's got an amazing story. He's doing some really good stuff for the community in helping people who face trauma and how to overcome it. So, and the book talks about it. So it was a really good conversation. He tells us about his story. So make sure to come back in and check it out. So finally, on Friday, we get to chat with Mike Graham, a podcast host to Pop Psych 101, a podcast on mental health and pop culture. On the podcast, he's joined with a licensed therapist, Ryan Engelstad. His podcast takes a really unique look at movies from a mental health perspective. One of the episodes that really touched me was an episode where they talked about Inside Out, a Disney Pixar movie, which talks about what goes on inside your head And according to the therapist, Ryan Engelstad, it's on point. It's just mind-blowing. So really awesome podcast. So his podcast, Mike talks about his journey as a podcaster and a movie enthusiast on this episode. I met Mike through the Anchor community on Facebook. We got to chat about podcasting, movies, and many things in between. It was only justifiable to bring him on the podcast and have a full-fledged conversation on all the things we love. So there you have it, 4 powerful podcast episodes on some really amazing topics, from marketing to building communities to overcoming trauma to talking about movies and psychology and mental health in movies and pop culture. Not just movies, pop culture. All right. So last week, like I mentioned earlier, was my birthday week. I hung out with my friends and family, as well as celebrating Eid, which happened to fall on my birthday. So all you people who celebrated Eid on June 4th, thanks for celebrating my birthday as well. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me at any point in time and let me know what you think of the podcast, what you think of the Monday breakdown, and if there's anything that I can add to this Monday breakdown and what's happening. The one thing I am planning on doing, if you are subscribed to the newsletter on hacksandhobbies.com, you should be expecting these Monday breakdown emails so you know who's coming in the upcoming week and whose episode you missed out on last week. So yeah, tune back in Monday to Monday, or daily, whichever is your frequency, to check out what's going on the podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Junaid signing out. Thank you for listening to Hacks and Hobbies. You can find additional information on the guest today on the website hacksandhobbies.com. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on upcoming interviews with amazing guests.